and liquidated to give the money to the nonprofit world. We call these legacy listings because they leave legacy for the nonprofits, they leave legacy for the donors, and they leave legacy for the real estate professionals that help us list things at a full commission. Now, we put this warning in here because the fact of the matter is you're getting ready to learn something that you just didn't know. You're going to learn the truth. And the truth is, proceeds from gifts of real estate will always be a better way to fund our nonprofits than any fundraiser or any grant writing, period. It just is what it is. And, this can be a blessing or a curse if we learn this and don't share it with all the nonprofits we know and love, with all the property owners that want to donate real estate, with our real estate agent friends who can get a full commission and make money making a difference. If we won't share it with them, then it becomes a little bit of a curse because in our conscience, we know there's a better way. But when people come to this presentation, it is a blessing because now you will know how to share it with all these folks who are involved. So let's talk a little bit about the history of this. Charitable real estate, my friends, has been around since 1917. In other words, that's when the U.S. government created the tax deduction. And they said, if you own a piece of real estate and you donate it to a legitimate 501c3, there's a whole lot of great things that happen. Number one, the nonprofit itself now has a asset that they can sell to fund their programs. And also, the donor of the real estate can avoid capital gains tax. I apologize, my phone is. They can avoid capital gains tax and write off the full appraised value as the basis of their tax deduction. So, it sounds pretty simple. We say, all right, well, there's people all over the country and all over the world who love nonprofits. They want to help big brothers, big sisters, and the Boys and Girls Club, and our veterans, and our animals, and our churches, and our universities. And they want to donate real estate. So it sounds simple enough. What's the big deal? Here's the problem. It's complicated and risky, and it is stopping these donations from happening. It's the nonprofits themselves that are saying no to gifts of real estate. So if the average person had $500 cash in their hand or the deed to a property worth $550,000, there are 1.3 million nonprofits in this country, and less than half of a percent are equipped to take gifts of real estate. So 99% of those folks would rather take the $500 cash than the deed to that property. Now, this is a problem because it's stopping our nonprofits from fulfilling on the missions that they were put together to create. So let's talk about why the nonprofits are not taking real estate. Number one, they don't have the expertise. In other words, these nonprofits, they have a mission to help veterans and animals and children, but they don't have a real estate department necessarily. And even if all of us sit on their board of realtors, what about the capital that it takes to do this? Now, we all know that when a piece of property exchanges hands, it must be lien free. So what if this piece of real estate has a $500,000 mortgage? Or what if the donor wants cash out when they donate it? Lack of capital is what is keeping these nonprofits from actually taking on gifts of real estate. There's this thing called mission drift. Every foundation, every nonprofit has a mission that they were created to uphold. And if they start getting off on doing real estate deals, it pulls them off of their original mission. A lot of nonprofits have heard about bad experiences. They've heard that maybe the Boy Scouts took a piece of property 20 years ago and it almost bankrupted them, or it was contaminated, or they held on to it and they didn't know what to do with it. These stories are keeping nonprofits from accepting real estate. Now, there are some nonprofits that will accept real estate on a very limited basis. We know a lot of foundations, a lot of community foundations that will accept real estate if it's local, if it's mortgage free, if it's easy to handle. But what if they could actually benefit from real estate of any size anywhere in the country or the world? Most nonprofits actually have it written right in their bylaws that they will not accept gifts of real estate. It's just too complicated. They just put up a red flag right off the bat. So ultimately, my friends, the deal is it's been so risky that 99.9% of nonprofits won't take real estate. That is why this has never been taught to real estate agents or real estate companies. That is why financial advisors who know what a great benefit this is to the nonprofit world and to their clients, they don't even bring it up because they know that the church won't take the property, etc. So it's just been so risky. However, here is the opportunity. Every year, the nonprofit world brings in $474 billion a year. 90% of that is coming from cash, but less than 3% of our available way to support nonprofits is in cash. In other words, the pocket change that we have, the money in our checking account, as a nation, less than 3%. Now, $9 billion a year is donated to nonprofits through the gifting of real estate. And that may sound like a lot, but when you think about it, it's only 2% of what the nonprofit world is bringing in. And experts say that that 2% can easily go to a lousy 6% with a little bit of education, which is what we are providing here. So 43% of our wealth as a nation is held in real estate. So when you kind of put all that together, 90% of what these nonprofits are bringing in is coming from cash, and only 2% is coming from that huge amount of wealth that we have in our wealth bucket. What can we do to fix this? What is the solution? Well, my friends, here's the solution. It is called a specialized nonprofit. Now, there are a very small handful of these anomalies in the world. I actually interviewed 6 of them 3 years ago to find the right one to partner with us. And as they explained it to me, they are 4 guys with 20, 30, 40 years of real estate experience, development, commercial real estate, and also all of them sit on boards for nonprofits. And over all the years, about 20 years ago, they went on a fishing trip and they said, what can we do? How can we help our nonprofit friends to actually tap into this wealth bucket of real estate? So they put together this thing called a specialized nonprofit that takes title to the real estate on behalf of any nonprofit, takes on all the financial responsibility, in this case, allowing any and all nonprofits to benefit from gifts of real estate with no risk, with no out-of-pocket expense, and with no need to change their gift acceptance policies. So here's what it looks like. Donor has a piece of property. It's a $10 million penthouse in New York City. And let's say that this $10 million penthouse in New York City, they want to donate it to the Cardone Foundation. And it's got a $3 million mortgage. So what are we going to do? How are we going to get that property over to the nonprofit, the capital that the nonprofit is going to receive? Well, first of all, we got to pay off that mortgage before the nonprofit can take title, which is what gives the donor the tax deduction. So with our system, that donor actually donates the property to the specialized nonprofit, who pays off the $3 million mortgage, who takes title, takes on all financial responsibility, and hires a real estate agent in that area at a full commission to list the property. And when the property is liquidated, the specialized nonprofit gives the proceeds to the nonprofit that the donor wants to have it, in this case, the Cardone Foundation. And so what we've done is we've just simplified the whole process for everyone. Now, you may recognize some of these logos. These are not all of, but a small handful of nonprofits around the country who have received money because of a donation of real estate. Now, we always point out Fidelity Charitable at the top because of the 1.3 million nonprofits in this country, Fidelity Charitables is the largest because they do donor advised funds. They brought in $13 billion themselves last year. And friends, even they don't do these deals of real estate because it's complicated and it's a little bit different than anything else that they do. Even they use a third-party specialized nonprofit, and it is the same team that you're looking at right here. We work with the team that helps Fidelity Charitables and all of these colleges, all kinds of universities, public radio, churches, soup kitchens, animal rescue, you name it, and they have been benefited by a gift of real estate. So let's talk about the solutions and the benefits for the nonprofits, for the donors, and for the advisors. We call it the triangle of trust because you need all three to make these donations happen. And these benefits are because of charitable gifting of real estate in general, but some of them are specific to when the person is working with us. So for example, no risk, all reward. On occasion, we'll have nonprofits that sit in and they see this and they think, well, this is pretty simple. We'll just do it ourselves. God bless. When they do, though, there is a lot of risk. And so when we say all risk, no reward, that's when there is a third party that is leveraged to handle these things really quickly. No traditional fundraiser or grant writing. This is really big for the nonprofits that we work with because instead of a 3 to 6 month planned fundraiser that may or may not even happen with our environment these days, there is no need for that. We simply raise the awareness of the donors about how this works. The average donation is $550,000. Last year, actually, it was $557,000 to be specific from residential, and it's $900,000 from commercial. There is no need for new donors. Now, what that means is we have nonprofits that have a list of 100 donors or 1,000 donors or 100,000 donors. And friends, there are donations of real estate right in that list. The donors just need to be told about this. As a matter of fact, hot off the press, just did an interview yesterday with the specialized nonprofit. There was a guy that donated 12 lots in December last year to his favorite nonprofit via our specialized nonprofit. When those 12 lots were donated, the nonprofit found out that when it was sold, they would benefit from the money. They immediately said, what? We didn't know we could benefit from real estate. They let their donors know. And before those first 12 lots that ended up selling for $408,000 that went to that nonprofit, before they even closed, they had a second donation of a house in Carmel, California, that when it sells, will sell for $600,000. Friends, that nonprofit brought in $1 million in less than 6 months because of donations of real estate, because they told the donors that are already on their list. Now, the donors that are already on the list will and can give 3 to 7 times more. We have a friend over at the Nature Conservancy. She says that people, her name is Jackie Franey, she says people will give 3 to 7 times more when they can give non-cash assets. And everyone has a Linda, our favorite story, just because it's so simple and really drives the point home. Now remember, the average donation is $550,000, but they're not all that big. National Jewish Health Foundation brings in hundreds of millions of dollars a year. They have a donor list of 300,000 people. One of their donors, her name is Linda, was giving them $25 a year for 32 years. Now, a couple of years ago, she heard someone from the team talking about this, and she said, I have a second home. It's a cabin in the Poconos. It was left to me by the family. I rarely ever go there. As a matter of fact, it's a 6-hour drive and it's fallen into disrepair. Happy to donate it. When Linda donated that property, it just goes to show she was giving $25 a year. So when we say everyone has a Linda, every nonprofit has people that show up to volunteer, that give just a little bit of treasure, maybe more time and talent than treasure. But guess what? We never know what type of assets they have. And the next bullet point, this nonprofit shared with me about 3 months ago. They said, now that Linda has donated that property, instead of $25 a year, she now gives us $500 a year. We have a really good friend, Dr. Russell James, who I'll be speaking of in just a minute. He says there is a psychological change when people start giving from their wealth bucket of real estate as opposed to their cash pocket. They actually start giving more cash. And Dr. James has proven with his team that when a nonprofit takes non-cash assets, they can 6 times their growth of a nonprofit that only takes cash. We have a copy of that report, happy to share it with you. And another benefit for nonprofits, if they already take real estate, like those community foundations we meet all over the country that will take a piece of real estate on a limited basis if it's local and easy, what if they could actually benefit from real estate anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, any mortgage size? Ultimately, the biggest benefit for the nonprofits is they can finally leave the legacy that they were created to leave. Now, let's talk about the donors, because you might be saying to yourself, okay, this makes sense. It's been around since 1917, but because nonprofits have been afraid to take real estate, that's why we've never really heard of it. That's starting to make sense. But really, people just give real estate away. Why? What are some of the benefits? Let's get into that. Number one is convenient. Now, believe it or not, people will hand over the keys and the deed in lieu of going through the whole process. A lot of people who donate real estate live in one part of the country and they have that cabin or that strip mall or that ranch in Texas or that condo in New York City. In other words, it's a long way away. They have a big estate. It's just convenient to hand over the keys. That's one of the reasons that Linda did, because she didn't have the money to put into that cabin to get it ready for sale. It was convenient for her to donate it. They can receive partial cash payment. So let's talk about that $10 million condo up in New York City. When that $3 million mortgage needed to be paid off, that's called a bargain sale. And whether they need to pay off a mortgage, whether the donor says, I love the Boys and Girls Club, but I don't love them that much. I'd like to get $3 million that I paid for it 10 years ago back in my pocket. Whether they want to buy replacement life insurance for their kids, doesn't matter. They can pull cash out. They can customize the amount of their donation based on how much cash they want to pull out. And friends, here's the thing. The donors that donate real estate give because it's giving smarter. The tax benefits for them so far outweigh just giving cash that it is important for their estate planning. There's no capital gains tax to be paid on what they donate. And 80%, 80% of the people who donate real estate, at least through the team that we use in this whole system, they do it because they want to leave legacy. They do it because they were a child at the Boys and Girls Club 40 years ago, and now they want to give back. In other words, they do it for altruistic reasons and to leave legacy. Let's talk for a minute about the business aspect of this. When we say advisors, we mean CPAs, tax accountants, real estate attorneys, financial professionals, real estate agents, anyone that advises folks who own real estate. Now, first and foremost, when I saw this 2.5 years ago, with all my real estate background, with all the competing in the marketplace and door knocking and calling expireds and for sale by owners, and wanting to make money and wanting to help my community, when I saw this, I thought, wow, we can certify and educate our real estate friends to learn how to make money while they're making a difference. Make money from making a difference. Make money to make a difference. To pay a full commission and have that realtor be able to stand in front of the camera and the media and the press, handing a check for $500,000 to the Boys and Girls Club, there is no better social responsibility and business development element than this. They can support lots of causes. So, even for myself back in the day, there were only 3 or 5 or maybe 10 nonprofits that I had the time and the talent and the treasure to be able to go volunteer and sit on this committee and donate this raffle basket. Friends, our advisory friends can now make money from helping dozens, hundreds, thousands of nonprofits. In the state of Florida alone, there are 108,000 nonprofits. So when you divide that by the 67 counties here in Florida, there are over 1,600 nonprofits per county that need our help. Every one of them has a donation of real estate, and our real estate friends can support lots of causes now. It is a unique sales proposition, as my friend Michael DeShabi likes to say. It's not sales. We are not convincing or selling people on anything. We are educating and informing, but it still is a unique way to build your sales because no one else in your marketplace is talking about it, period. It opens doors. We have people who are talking to high net worth, very influential people because this is a sophisticated conversation that even the most seasoned real estate professionals and nonprofits know about. High net worth clients, guys, this is just the best way to solidify those relationships. So, charitable real estate divisions by 2025, the goal is to have them in every marketplace all over the country, creating that credibility to let 87% of your marketplace know that you are socially responsible. Full commission listings to the realtors, that's only half of it, because those full commission listings are also going to attract that 87% of the marketplace who is already saying, we want to do business with people that are socially responsible. And the other half of that sentence is this: increasing assets under management. This is talking about our financial advisor friends. So 65% of these donations, the $9 billion already and soon to be $29 billion a year to the nonprofit world, 65% of them come from financial advisors because they know this is a good tax deduction. They have clients that want to be more philanthropic. And when they can liquidate a hard asset, real estate that they cannot manage, when they can liquidate that asset, and put the funds in a donor advised fund that they can manage, they are making more money. So ultimately, all of these groups are learning about this because of the real agents of change, the Rock, as we have become known. Who are we? We are the only organization in the world that is providing this information, education, and certification, but even more importantly, the solutions and the support and the system and the strategies to leverage real estate for real change. We have the vetted resources and relationships. For example, specialized nonprofits. There are 3 that we hold tight to our chest. We have vetted. We know that these nonprofits, these specialized nonprofits, will work with your nonprofit. In other words, just as an example, Cars for Kids is now accepting real estate. And that is wonderful. It's a fabulous marketing campaign on their point. And if a donor just wants a tax deduction, they can donate it to Cars for Kids or any other number of nonprofits that are smart enough to have started doing this. But if the donor wants to choose the nonprofit that gets the money, they need to have the right resource. And we have that resource for several. We also have the only marketing in the world, the emails, the social media campaigns. We call it cause marketing campaigns because we're marketing for-profit and nonprofit with causes in mind. We have the only programs for the charitable real estate specialists. We are trademarked. We are licensed to be the only certification around this topic. We have the credibility. We have the cred divisions around the country. And we have the international database. So this is what the database looks like. When you hover your mouse over any state on the map, it will light up and show you who is certified in that state. Now, when we first started, this was completely focused on real estate professionals because that's my background. And I immediately thought, there are 2 million realtors in this country. What if 1% of them got certified and knew how this worked and brought it back to their marketplaces? But what we've learned over the last couple of years is equally the nonprofits want to learn about this. The financial advisors want to learn about it, etc. And so now we are having any and all of them become certified and show up on the map too, because when we come together and position, partner, promote this together, it just makes it more efficient and effective. So here's the next step. You know others that need to know about this. You do, or you wouldn't be here. In other words, people don't make it to the Charitable Real Estate 101 unless they've got nonprofits they love, realtors they love, financial advisors that they know and love. So if you're bored, like the board of your nonprofit, the board of realtors, like any of those groups need to know about this, for example. What about the donors on your list? Just like the story we told earlier, that nonprofit has brought in $1 million in less than 6 months because they simply told their donors. What about your real estate company? When all of the realtors all over the country can make full commission, not only can the real estate company get more commissions to split, but think about the PR and the social media or the social responsibility, the corporate social responsibility, and how this attracts those kinds of partners. Friends, our financial service company friends, they know that donations of real estate are a good idea. They've just never known a nonprofit they could work with. Even Fidelity Charitables, the largest nonprofit in this country, the one that works with tens of thousands of financial advisors, friends, they don't even want to do their own real estate deals. Even they leverage our team. Your clients need to know. What about the real estate investor groups to learn about not paying capital gains tax? Are you kidding me? All the nonprofit networks, we all see them on Facebook and LinkedIn. They need to know. Ultimately, the bottom line is we have the ROC Masterclass, Charitable Real Estate Masterclass. We do it once a month live on Zoom. We've got the recording of it as well at that link. And we will do personalized, co-branded master classes. We are already working with EXP Real Estate and other groups like that, so we can co-brand stuff with you as well. Here are a few more resources that we are happy to send to you in a message as well. The FAQS has 13 of the most common asked questions. We have there the interviews with us in the specialized nonprofit, with me and Dr. James, and also the report that I mentioned earlier that Dr. James' team has done that proves when a nonprofit takes non-cash assets, they 6 times the growth of one who only takes cash. If you go to this link, there are case study after case study of land, residential, commercial. Property valuation link is where people go to put in their property, the details of the property to see if it qualifies as a donation of real estate. Chapter 1, this is where you can go and get the first chapter of our book that just literally came off the press yesterday. And you can join the Real Agents of Change Facebook group to learn more. And I do a lot over on my LinkedIn page. This is what it looks like to be a champion. The woman on the left is the executive director of a wonderful nonprofit here in Sarasota, Florida. When she learned about this, she was all over it. Who did she learn about it from? From the woman in the middle, a real estate agent who is visionary and heart-centered and who wants to make a difference and knows that making money from making a difference is the best business development tool there is. And of course, I'm taking a knee, knowing that this photo is going in the book and is going in the press release. We have the book launch with The Haven, June 16th here in Sarasota. We're doing the book launch. We're giving 50% of the proceeds of the book to The Haven as a thank you. We have in April, National List the Legacy Listing Month as an awareness campaign. So ultimately, what we're saying is there are a lot of ways for you to get support learning about charitable real estate and how we can support you with it. And I would be thrilled to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you so much for that presentation. That was great. It was super thorough. I learned a ton about charitable real estate. I didn't really have a foundation for this topic at all, so I think you did a great job. Couple of quick questions. So we were interested in donor advised funds, and we're doing a lot of research. We don't have any anything set up right now, but is this something that it would work in tandem with an existing donor advised fund, or this?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking, Madison. So, our big goal here is to educate and let people know that gifts of real estate are even possible. Like, it's amazing that, I've talked to people that have, as a matter of fact, I Googled a couple of years ago, who is the most successful woman in real estate? Because I was looking for a mentor. And the lady's name that came up runs a huge a branch of a real estate office in New York City. She has a radio show. And I called in and I was talking to her about it. She had never even heard of this before. So our goal is to let everyone know that it's even possible. And then we can start saying, okay, now that you know the donations of real estate can help any nonprofit and go to any donor advised fund, now we can start getting down into the nitty gritty. So, whether it's Fidelity Charitables or American Endowment Foundation, or whether it's the Cardone Foundation that has their own, house for donor advised funds, we're happy to help you facilitate some charitable real estate division work.
That's incredible. That's awesome. And then just another question. So I know you had said that the donors themselves can pull funds from the sale of whatever real estate that they're donating, is there like a specific, quota that they have to reach? Like they can only pull 30% or 40%, or is it, up to the donor how much they would like to pull from that donation?
It's totally up to the donor. So whether they are, needing to pay that mortgage off, or it doesn't really matter what they want to do with the money. They can pull as much as they want, keeping in mind that it is their property. So, for us, we look for a minimum equity in the property to go to the nonprofit world. We look for 200,000 just because that's a good place that makes it worthwhile for everyone. Keeping in mind that 550,000 is the average. And also keeping in mind that our friend Linda that we talked about earlier, her donation was only 39,000 to that nonprofit. So they can tailor it however they want. They can do charitable remainder trusts. They can get really fancy with it. We just want people to know that they can do it at all.
Absolutely, that makes sense. And then just one last question. So is there any way I would be able to receive this presentation, the slide deck in like a PDF or something? I thought it had a lot of really great information. I would love to look back at some of the slides in further detail. And then also, where can I purchase the book?
Great question. So yes, I will provide the slide deck. We don't normally do that, but based on who you are and the collaboration that we could create here, I'll send over this recording. If you would be so kind as to simply send Michael your address, I'll be happy to autograph a book and send you a copy, and send one to make it to the hands of Grant and Elena. As a matter of fact, Elena is a client of my mentor, Shay Rowbottom, in LinkedIn. So we've only been 1 degree of separation away anyway. So I'm happy to send an envelope with a few copies that they can see as well. And look, we understand that the Cardone Foundation is plenty sophisticated enough to do these transactions. You guys could pay off $500,000 mortgages, etc. What we would like to do is offer a conversation about how could we help to educate you and the realtors in your EXP group, etc. Because donations of real estate are one thing. How to get out and leverage them in the world, and how to help those realtors to recruit and to talk to the nonprofits in their area. We want to help the Cardone Foundation get funded, and also keep in mind there's 1.3 million nonprofits in this country. All of their real estate agents and friends and investors could be helping all of them. This is the biggest social responsibility campaign that any of us have ever run across. So I'm happy to send you a couple of copies of the book.
That's incredible. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's so thoughtful. It definitely sounds like it would be amazing. Elena with her EXP, campaign, and Grant with Cardone Capital and that real estate would be really awesome to bring some, social responsibility to both of those divisions of, Cardone training and really bring it all together. So that's incredible outside of the foundation.
Another thing I'll share with you, Madison, is therock.com/EXP. So I did an interview with Gene Frederick, who is the granddaddy of EXP. He's got, I guess, half of the real estate agents are on his team. And we're going to share that with you because he also endorses what we're doing. And Grant would appreciate seeing that. And I will be at the EXP convention in Orlando in June. So if there's anything going on with Grant, Elena, their team, any of their leaders, if they would like for me to meet with them and do just a 10-minute overview with them, I'm happy to do that as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll let her EXP team know. I'm sure they'd be more than interested, especially if they're attending that event. So I'll follow up with you and I'll let you know.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming, and I will get the recording of this, the slide deck, over to Michael immediately, and I'll get your address and send you some books. Thanks for coming.
Incredible. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for inviting me. This was amazing.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
Nice to meet you, Madison. All right. that was a special real estate charitable gifts of real estate 101, and we were joined with here. Let me do this. Since I'm off the Zoom, I can actually let's see. Let me turn on the camera. There we go. And let me do a background. So let's do a virtual background. Which one should we use? Let's use this one. Let's see how this comes out. All right. So that was one of the representatives with Cardone Capital, Grant Cardone's team, and this was Charitable Gifts of Real Estate 101. And we also have a deep dive as well on Tuesday. I think it's the third Tuesday. I'll double check that. But you could text me at 661-621-5340 to find out more about what we're doing and how we're changing the real estate business across the country. And now with Cardone Capital, maybe around the world. So appreciate all of you on this LinkedIn. I appreciate all of you on all my social media channels, because I wouldn't be able to do this without your following, and I really appreciate your social media following. If you have any questions, please feel free to text me, or you can go to samsoberhomes@gmail.com. You could email me there, and I'm going to go. I'll probably be on again this week, but if I don't talk to you, incredible heroes in our community, thank you so much for your services. It's coming up to, and graduation. I mean, we got all these kids that are graduating. Congratulations on your incredible high school and college kids for reaching that goal and graduating. So I appreciate all of you. Please don't be a stranger. Follow me, and let's talk more about charitable gifts of real estate and how we could fund your foundations. And if you're a realtor, if you want to be part of this movement, please let me know. I'll be happy to share some more information. I have a couple links I have to share with you if you want to become part of this team. We're looking for 1% of the realtors across the country, and to be involved in this movement. It's going to be big. It's going to be huge. It's going to be changing lives. It's already doing that. Over $9 billion a year is given back to nonprofits through real estate, charitable gifts of real estate. So, and this isn't a broker thing. This is a people thing. It's not exclusive to EXP. If you are curious about EXP, I will not deny you the right to come in and learn more. If you want to know more about EXP, you can go to the website www.can'tunseethis.com. www.can'tunseethis.com. And that's a 9-minute video synopsis of EXP. We just expanded into New Zealand. We have a couple more that are coming. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say anything about them, so I'm not going to say, but they're kind of secret locations right now. So thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to turn this thing off and get started with my workday. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye for now. All right. That's over. Let's do this. I'm going to go to, we have been running a clubhouse today. So let me do this. I don't want to lose this. So I'm just going to put charitable gifts of real estate 101. let's talk about making a living and making a difference as well. All right, so let me do this. Let me add to my series. All right, and let me tag. Who can I tag? Let's see. Can we tag Grant? Awesome. Add a tag. All right. So that was my Instagram live. And let's see. Let's do this. Did we have any comments, any private chats? No one in our private chats? All right. So let me know if you want to know more about what we're doing with charitable gifts of real estate. I'm going to end this broadcast right now. So then I'll save it in the cloud. Make it a great day. Bye for now.